You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Demos and breaking news. It's E3 week, after all, here on the A Foreign Affair podcast, episode 214. Yes, that it was. I want to say, let's see, if 52 times 4 would be 208. Yeah. So this is a month and a half after our 4-year anniversary. And because it's our 4-year anniversary, that means it's time for another World Cup. World Cup is here, guys. I am Edward Green, not joined live by my call in crime, Wes Bradshaw, but Wes Bradshaw will be joining us from Parts Unknown later. Hell, I'm in Parts Unknown this week, so we're just not in the same Parts Unknown. That's why it's a little tricky. But real quick episode today. Of course, I'm going to try to get this out as quick as I can. Hopefully, as I'm getting some stuff now. We'll get Wes Bradshaw's part as well quickly, so we can rush this out the door before the first World Cup matches start. So it'll have something to look. It'll be like a pregame show for you. The worst. No, it might be better than Fox's pregame show. We don't know yet. Oh boy, it could be interesting. Real quick, we'll go down the schedule for this first week of games. We will also have some news and notes to hit, and we'll do a quick watch for, I believe. Wes Bradshaw, again, like I said, coming from Parts Unknown, we'll hit World Cup notes. Liverpool, Fecker fallout in this week's Anfield Corner. The fallout. The Fallout 76 was announced this week. What will be the fallout? It may be a little different for Wes Bradshaw than it is for standard Liverpool fans. Very different. And he'll also have get so raw with a little Money in the Bank preview. So as always, we are presented by NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We never stop. So even with us both being in Parts Unknown this week, we are going to deliver you a fresh edition of the pod. Again, as I'm recording this, we are 21 hours from kick, as the World Cup will start in Russia. Again, Group A will get things started off for us in Moscow. Russia versus Saudi Arabia. Group A teams will be first out of the gate. Home team gets to be the host country, gets to be the starters. Only they get to play tomorrow, or today when you're listening to this. So they will be the match that kicks everything off, Russia and Saudi Arabia. And let me tell you, with Uruguay in the group again, as we did in our preview last week, as well as Egypt, both teams could really use 3 points here, especially Russia, because this could be an interesting group, especially if Russia wants to try and get out of here without resorting to other methods, which I'm sure they would never do. So tomorrow, June 15th, is what that is. Egypt will play Uruguay. That's, again, a big match for both those teams. Will Mo Salah play? I don't know. We'll see. But if he does, that does give Egypt their obviously biggest threat. The other matches for Friday include Morocco versus Iran. If Iran wants to make some noise in this group, they're going to need to get a win there. Morocco, as we'll get to in news and notes, a little bit of a disappointing news today as we're recording this for their soccer federation. But they can make some noise in the World Cup with a win there. Also, Portugal, Spain. That's the late game on Friday, and I believe that is I think it's -8. So I think that is a 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock start time. Something in there in the afternoon, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Check your local listings. The times here are listed in like Moscow Standard Time. So conversion is great. So again, the Portugal, Spain. That's one of the draws of the entire group stage, and we're getting it on the first full day of World Cup action. So again, that will close out Friday's action. Portugal v Spain. On Saturday, you're going to get France versus Australia, Peru versus Denmark out of Group C, as well as Group D action with Argentina, Iceland, and Croatia versus Nigeria. Again, Group D, Argentina's group to lose. But as we mentioned in our World Cup preview last week, they very well could lose it. And starting off with Iceland, no easy task. On June 17th, which is Sunday, you get Brazil looking to make their push for another World Cup title. They'll be playing off against Switzerland, the second best team in Group E. Costa Rica will be matching up with Serbia. And also on Sunday, Germany versus Mexico. Tough task for Mexico in their first match. On the 18th, Monday, Sweden and South Korea will take to the pitch, along with the 4 teams from Group G, including Belgium and Panama, and then Tunisia and England. And that is the late game on Monday. You can bet Wes Bradshaw will be glued to whatever monitor he can be to watch England hopefully win. And then on the 19th, Group H gets started with Colombia and Japan. Poland and Senegal also take to the pitch. That ends the first round robin play. But on the 19th as well, Russia takes the pitch for the second time. That will be going up against Egypt. That is next Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we start doing the fullback into the second round robin. Uruguay will be taking on Saudi Arabia, Portugal versus Morocco, and Iran versus Spain. Those are your June 20th matchups. So big matches again. I think the biggest one of all, though, the third game Friday, Portugal versus Spain. Portugal probably needs at least a point here. I mean, maybe they don't. Assuming they can take care of Morocco and Iran, they should probably still be able to go through second, even if they lose. But if they do lose to Spain, and then maybe they only draw Morocco in game 2, be interesting. Be interesting. So that is your quick World Cup preview. Again, matches start when you're listening to this today. Today, just one match, though, as Russia takes on Saudi Arabia to kick off Group A. So that is your match talk for the week. News and notes time now. News coming out of the Capital One League Cup, Carabao Cup, whatever the other one was. Oh gosh, it's like a credit card company or something. I don't know. Not important. What is important is that they are making changes to the format for the 2018-19 season. The first one, no more extra time. No more extra time. If you're level at the end of 90 minutes plus stoppage, you go straight to penalties. The International Champions Cup proudly shows this off and show that it is the preferred format of the highly important competitions. All jokes aside, that is a great move. Anytime you're playing less football in a non-highly important cup, that's good. Now, if we can just get the FA Cup to stop replays, it'd be even better. They'll also be using VAR at all Premier League grounds. And I understand why they're doing that at only Premier League grounds, but it seems really unfair. Like, I feel like if you're going to use VAR, you kind of have to use it through the entirety of the competition. They won't. So, yeah, and as we know, VAR wasn't that great last year, so we'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting change, but not exactly sold on it yet. Also, the penalty format they tried last year when they went ABBA in terms of teams, where Team A shoots first, then B shoots second and third, and then A comes back fourth. That's been scrapped, and it's just go A, B, A, B, A, B all the way through. So that's the changes to the League Cup. There will also be no seeding in the first couple rounds. So there's that. Also, a little bit of changes to the Premier League. This was a little interesting. Hey, Germany, France, Spain, they have a winter break. Premier League should too. They've been like, yeah, let's do winter break. And Premier League said, sure. But, no. It's very weird, very weird. I had to read this article like a couple times coming out of the BBC. So there will now be a winter break for the Premier League starting in the 2019-20 season. So not this season, but the following season. It will be a 2-week break, but the break will split the teams up. So like 1 week, half the teams will be off. The next week, the other half of the teams will be off. It won't just be 2 weeks off for everybody. Also, it was the weekend in February where the FA Cup 5th round matches will be played. Those weren't moved outside of it. It's just moved to midweek. So if you're a Premier League team who's in the FA Cup 5th round, which I believe is the round of 16, I'm not. I have to look that up real quick. 5th round. That's what I want to say. 5th round. Real quick. Is my internet's failing me here? Round of 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's the round of 16. So you could have 7 or 8, 12 Premier League teams still in, that instead of playing like, it's tough, right? Because if you were gonna play that weekend as a Premier League team, and now you're in the FA Cup 5th round, it's moved to like the last part of the season, and now instead you're still playing that match, so you have a little less congestion maybe at the end, sort of. Like, it's just, it's 1 week. It's not a break. It's, if I'm reading this correctly, and I'm gonna ask Wes Bradshaw about it next time we're on. I don't. It doesn't really feel like a break. I mean, Germany, I believe, gets like a month. Spain and a couple, I think France get like 2 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks. So the holiday congested period around the end of December, or all of December, still exists. You still will play, and you still might end up playing about the same amount of matches if you're in the FA Cup 5th round as you would now. So I think it's stupid. This article even mentions that almost 90% of players questioned in a recent survey by FIFPro said they wanted a mid-season break, and that nearly half of national team footballers who play in 50 or more matches this season said they felt they played too many games. I don't know. It seems like a super token gesture, and I don't like it. But hey, whatever. But, it's something.gif. That's what this is, and it's whatever. So yeah, you have a weekend off. Congrats. You still have to play midweek, so you might still end up playing 2 matches in 4 days. Great. Let's move on to something happier, shall we? A little bit of contract news. Harry Kane gets a big contract boost. He's now has a 6-year contract worth reported £90 million that will keep him at Tottenham until 2024. It's coming out of the club's Twitter page. It's going to be worth about £200,000 a week, because that's how we like to do things in soccer, which is doubling his previous salary. And if you're thinking, like, you see Mauricio Pochettino getting signed to a big new deal, Harry Kane getting signed to a big new deal, I believe Christian Eriksen got signed to a big new deal. Tottenham going very all in on this core group. We'll have to see who else they can get. Obviously, probably not many people coming in now that the World Cup has started, so we probably won't be seeing any more transfer news on them until maybe like the beginning of July, mid-July, right before they come over to the States for the International Champions Cup. But this is obviously huge news, and once again, the core of Tottenham is staying together, and Daniel Levy, who's been notoriously big on saving money, spending it now. And you got to think, with Maurizio Pochettino agreeing to stay on for as long as he did, got to think there were some assurances there that salaries were going to start going up, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. So that's big news for Tottenham. Also, Gerard Deulofeu is leaving Barcelona again for Watford on a permanent transfer. Came over, spent part of this last season with Watford. He's also spent time at Everton in the Premier League. He's just 24 years old, but he's just kind of Sometimes he plays well, sometimes he doesn't. We'll see if anything good happens to him. But hey, Watford, they're keeping this guy. Will they keep a coach? Who knows? So that's the news coming out of there. And then this story actually broke earlier today, Wednesday. We didn't know. Last week we talked at the very end of the podcast. Zinedine Zidane leaving Real Madrid after winning a third straight Champions League title. Real Madrid coming out a couple days ago saying we're hiring Spain's national team manager Julen Lopetegui. Sure, I said that right. To come on after the World Cup. He's going to take over at Real Madrid. Well, apparently the Spanish Soccer Federation didn't really appreciate it. The announcement coming before the World Cup started, because they just fired him. So the Federation president, Luis Rubiales, had to make a big trip, and they had to hold a emergency session upon hearing that he had taken the job at Real Madrid, and decided to fire him. One day before the World Cup starts, and like 3 days before your first match. It's just weird. Quote from Rubiales: "We have been obliged to fire the national coach." No, you weren't. You weren't obliged to do fuck all. So, whatever. We wish him the best. No, you don't, or you wouldn't have fired him. He has done an excellent job in getting us to the tournament, but screw you if you think we're going to let you continue. But the Federation cannot be left outside the negotiation of one of its employees and find out just 5 minutes before a public announcement. If anybody wants to talk to one of our employees, they have to speak to us too. That is basic, as this is the team of all Spaniards. The national team is the most important we have. The World Cup is the biggest of all. No, sorry, it's not. There are 2 club teams in your country who are bigger than Spain, and it's Real Madrid and Barcelona. And this coach went to one of them. And I get it. I get that you're frustrated that Real Madrid didn't come talk to you, or Lopetegui didn't come to talk to you about it beforehand. But you're acting like a 13-year-old teenage girl who just got stood up at junior prom or something. Like, come the fuck on. Like, if we cast our eyes back 4 years ago, Spain unceremoniously bounced from the World Cup in the group stage after being the defending title holders. Now, hey, they're one of the big favorites to win it again this year. You know, a fairly easy group in Group B to get through, as long as they can get past Portugal in their first game. And now you've thrown the entire thing into chaos. You know, we said France was the team that might go mental boom. There's a few others. Spain might go mental boom because of this. We don't know. We really don't know. They do have someone in place. It is going to be what's his name? Where's this? What's his first name? I have his last name. Fernando Hierro. He's going to be the hero that saves Spain. He will be the role. He will be the coach for the World Cup. He was the team sporting director, so he is at least a little bit familiar with the talent there. But and again, Spain is probably good enough to be able to do okay still. It's just so bizarre. I don't know. So hey, whatever. I think this is insane. Would it have been good if they had waited till after the World Cup to make it official? Sure. Would have been good if they had checked with Spain and been like, "Hey, just heads up, this is what we're doing." Of course it would have. This is the overreaction to top all other overreactions. This is absurd and stupid. And Spain and their federation should feel big shame. Big shame. So, we'll see what happens. They might still go on to win the World Cup. They're good enough, but we'll see. Lastly, we talked a lot about World Cup 2018, Russia. World Cup 2026, the hosts have been decided, and it is a little bit of a sweat. The U.S., Mexico, and Canada tri-bid. It does come through. They will be all hosting it, although the United States will be hosting the majority of the matches. This will be the first World Cup to expand to 48 clubs from 32. And obviously the United States already has a lot of the infrastructure in place to handle something like that, along with Canada and Mexico helping out. The final will be in New Jersey, I believe, at the MetLife Stadium. So that's pretty good. The North America's bid revenue forecast was $14.3 billion, according to CNN.com, with a record profit of $11 billion for FIFA, which is what FIFA really cares about. Morocco tried to play that up. They tried to say, hey, we're building, and it would be great for Africa. That was one of Sepp Blatter's big things. Obviously, he as mentioned in the article, or I believe another article. That's one of his big things. Is I'm so proud as a big corrupt FIFA man that I got Morocco into the voting process because I'm so great. I'm Sepp Blatter. Bleh, whatever. It might be cool for Morocco to host the World Cup, but they, like Brazil had to do a couple years ago, like most countries in the world would have to do, especially for a tournament that is now growing in size of teams, would have to do a lot of building of infrastructure. And that costs billions of dollars. And you can ask Brazil what that's like. It's not great. It's really not great, actually. So the United States won't have to do much building. A lot of it's already there. They might have to do some improvements, this or that, but it won't be anywhere near as costly as Morocco having to do it. So I get that they don't like that it's a financial thing. And sure, it's kind of about revenue, which sucks. But from a cost-saving standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for the Tri-Confederation to host it. So the United States, it looks like they also will get an auto bid. Canada and Mexico most likely will as well. We saw that happen with Japan and South Korea when they dual hosted back in 2002, 6, one of the two. 6. France was 02, I believe. 6. So there you go. U.S., they tried really hard to blow it. Like really, really hard. But they do get the bid. So World Cup 2026, again, will be in the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada. However, most of the matches will be in the United States. So that will do it for news and notes. As we hit the watch for, what am I watching in the week that was or the week that will be? I haven't really had a chance to watch too much television as I've been in parts unknown. However, I have been keeping up with E3, biggest video gaming press conferences of the year. Some good stuff coming out. Smash Bros. For Switch, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate announced coming out in December of this year. Microsoft also had a very good press conference, even if most of the games aren't solely tied to Microsoft and the Xbox, but hey, whatever, it's fine. It's fine. And then Sony was super weird. So hey, yeah, I've been keeping up with E3. E3 is still going on through today and I believe tomorrow as well. So be bouncing back and forth between that, coverage of that, and of course the World Cup, which starts tomorrow. But before we can get you into that, by tomorrow I mean today when you're listening to this, before we let you go, we do want to hit the other part of Parts Unknown, and we check in with Wes Bradshaw. Like I said, we have an Anfield corner coming up and a little bit of So Raw as he previews Money in the Bank. So Wes Bradshaw from Parts Unknown, take it away.
Wow, what's up, guys? Welcome to Wes Bradshaw's world famous, soon to be world famous, Anfield Corner. I think today we're going to call it the World Corner, though, because, man, yes, the world revolves around Anfield, as we all know. But there's so much going on in the world of football, not the least, which is basically, as I'm recording this, we're about 3.5 hours from the World Cup kicking off. That's right. The journey has come to its destination. No sleep till Moscow, and we're here. We're here. It's World Cup 2018. Coming to you from Russia, the host country, Russia. Going to be starting it off with Saudi Arabia. Probably not the premier match that we're looking to have, but either way, that's going to be something. We're getting it going today. I believe it's going to be Uruguay playing the second match. Whew. So here we go, folks. We are here. We're ready to go. And on top of that, the biggest, big news in a week just chock full of it. USA 2026. Yes, also Canada and Mexico. But USA 2026. The World Cup is coming back where I can hopefully, potentially see England fail in person. Oh, it's the dream. The dream of England. Definitely Ed Green and myself. If we're still doing this majestic podcast, which I don't know why we wouldn't. It's not like anybody bankrolls it anyway, so it's not like if we lose a sponsor, we're in any trouble or anything. I know if something comes relatively close to us, say DC-ish, Atlanta, Charlotte would be perfect. Something like that, you've got to expect us to be on the road going for it. So super stoked for that. Obviously, we've got 8 years to talk about that, so I'm not gonna go into that too deep right now. Huge news out of the World Cup, as 2 days before the World Cup starts, Spain, in a shocking, unprecedented at this level move, asked their manager Julian Lopetegui. I'm sorry, folks. You guys know when I bring you the recorded version that I'm coming off no sleep and I'm usually about to pass out on the road home. Lopetegui is axed 2 days before the World Cup starts when he gets the Real Madrid job. So he goes from potentially the biggest international job in the world to the biggest club job in the world. And the Spanish FA are going to catch all levels of hell if this World Cup campaign goes awry for this firing. And the big reason was the FA president, the only reason he would come out with and say was, I wasn't informed of this until 5 minutes before the announcement. Okay, because it's about you, right? Oh, wait. Yeah, no one knows who the hell you are outside of Spain. I couldn't even tell you who the head of the English FA is right now. Because I don't care, because he doesn't have that big an influence on my life. But they fire the coach 2 days before because the Spanish FA is miffed that they weren't told sooner. Wow. Yeah, if this campaign goes to shit, I think the Spanish FA is going to be having a big mix-up coming to them. It's going to be interesting. New coach in for Spain, Fernando Hierro. Man, he steps right. You talk about stepping into the firing line. I mean, this guy's taken one of the probably 3 or 4 premier favorites of this World Cup. And suddenly he has control, and it's his team, and he has 2 days to figure out what he's going to do. From the word we heard, everybody is saying that the players were all lobbying very hard to keep Julian, the manliest man name of all time. They were lobbying hard to keep him. The FA said, nope, this was their decision. They didn't give a shit what anybody else thought. So, anyway, but here we go, folks. The World Cup is here. I think I picked Brazil. I really don't remember what Ed picked because, once again, my brain not functioning that well right now. I don't think he picked Brazil, though. I can't remember. He may have picked France or Germany or somebody. Hell, maybe he picked England. Did he pick England? Yeah, did you pick England? Shit, no, you didn't pick England. England could be pretty good. Anyway. All right, let's go to the center of the footballing universe. That, of course, Anfield. As a shocker at Anfield took place over the last week. Last Friday, it had come out that Nabil Fekir, the Lyon captain, the playmaker, he had agreed terms with Liverpool on a contract. Liverpool and Lyon had agreed terms. He had his picture taken with the jersey, had already done his first interview with the Liverpool media squad. All we were waiting for was just the results of the medical to come back, and then we had to wait till after 5 French time because of some stock market things and the fact that that Lyon is a publicly traded company. So no big deal. We're just waiting on it, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and no Nabil Fekir. And then all of a sudden it comes out that Liverpool had pulled out of the deal. Well, or Lyon pulled out of the deal. Depending on what source you want to go with, somebody pulled out of this deal. According to reports from the first medical, Liverpool found issues with Fekir's knee. He has had an ACL tear in the past. He had an aggravation of that injury last year where he missed, I believe, a couple of months. And Liverpool were not comfortable with the first one. They got a second medical. Apparently he passed the second medical. But then, Liverpool wanted to go back and talk to Lyon a little more, be like, look, this isn't exactly what we thought we were paying for. So, hey, let's talk. Let's negotiate a little bit. And apparently Lyon were not happy about that, and they pulled out of the deal at the moment and said, the deal's off. We'll never speak to Liverpool again, blah, blah, blah. All that good stuff that you heard about guys in the past, such as Naby Keita and Virgil van Dijk. So, there's no such thing as a dead deal in world football. I think it's a blow for Liverpool at the moment, just due to some fan reaction, because so many fans, myself included, were so excited about this deal going through. Fekir would give Liverpool another another option in that squad. He would really add to it. Here's my first yawn. Excuse me, guys. Would be a big addition to the Liverpool squad. A lot of people, of course, immediately went on FSG, they suck, they're the worst ever. Oh my God, get rid of these owners. They don't want to spend money. Obviously forgetting that we just spent 40 plus million on Fernandinho. And basically our last 2 purchases are 75 million for Van Dijk and 40 plus million for Fabinho, and about to trigger 52 million, I believe, for Naby Keita. So, doubling that Liverpool wants to spend any money to improve the squad. I don't think this deal is dead. I think there's a chance it could be revisited probably after the World Cup, maybe during the World Cup. I don't think it'll be announced till after the World Cup, obviously. But I think they're going to keep talking here. I think Liverpool just maybe wants some assurances, maybe want to change how the payment's done. I think they can come to an agreement. I think if Jurgen Klopp wants Nabil Fekir that bad, I still think Fekir ends up in a red shirt by the end of the summer. So, it goes from a done deal to, Liverpool apocalypse, which is nothing unusual, to, just be patient. And of course, you get the Liverpool fans go, "Oh God, we've already blown the summer. I thought we were going to be aggressive and go after people and have a big summer." It's June the 14th, you morons. It's June the 14th. Stop screaming about there's 2 months left of the window. My God. Idiots. So, you know what? If that's who Liverpool want, I think they'll get him. If not, they'll move on, and I think they'll bring in some quality players. Liverpool's not done shopping. The goalkeeper situation's topsy-turvy. That's just how this shit is, man. If everything was like the Fabinho move, it would be great. But the problem is, newspapers have to sell papers. They've got to get people to click. They get the rumor mills going, and that gets the fans all fired up. So it's just what it is. I'm not worried too much about Liverpool right now. I think we're going to be fine. Obviously, I think Klopp knows what he's doing. I'm a huge Klopp fan, as you know. Looking forward. Ed didn't get to touch on this. I'm only doing it because it's just happened in the last few hours. The Premier League schedule has come out. Just on the Liverpool front, which is the only one I've taken any quick look at. Notable, I believe, first match in October is going to be Liverpool-Man City. Liverpool opened the season at home against West Ham. They have a very manageable first 4 with West Ham, I believe Cardiff, Brighton, and Leicester. And then their 5th match of the season, which is, I believe, off the top of my head, because I'm not looking at it, September 15th, they play Spurs. And it will be Spurs' opening match at their new stadium. And they will open it with Liverpool. So definitely a glamour time for them. They get one of their good league rivals. And they just get a big match to start off the new era at Spurs. Obviously, Ed and I may have to get together and watch that one if schedules work out. That's an exciting opener for Tottenham Hotspur. We're going to do a quick preview of Money in the Bank. Everything's been leading to this for WWE, as we know. So, you know what? Let's take a quick look at it. As we go forward, of course, there are two Money in the Bank ladder matches, a men's ladder match, a women's ladder match. We've got tag team title matches on the line. We've got the WWE title. We've got the Universal title on the line. No, do we have a Universal? God, suddenly I don't think we have a Universal title on the line. I actually had to think about that, which means, Brock would have to be there, and by all means, we know that's not happening anytime soon. So anyway, let's take a quick look at the card as it starts off the traditional ladder matches. Excuse me. Here's where we're going to start. We're going to start with a tag team championship match. It's going to be on the kickoff show. Folks, I'm not usually a kickoff show guy, but I'm had to show this out because it's the brothers, the Good Brothers, Gallows, Anderson taking on the Bludgeon Brothers, Eric Rowe and Luke Harper. That's going to be for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Gallows and Anderson, I'm such a fan, and I think there could be so much more to do with those guys. They're over with the fans, especially the group that, enjoys going a little deeper than just, the top 2 or 3 matches. So I'm looking for something to happen. It comes down to, do they want to go with Gallows Anderson, or do they want to kind of give the Bludgeon Brothers a push? We'll see what happens. Grudge match, Daniel Bryan returning for another pay-per-view, taking on Big Cass. That's one that's been building since Cass came back from his injury. Women's championship match on Raw, Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey making her solo match debut, her single match debut, and she's in a title match. That does not happen very often at all. We know Ronda Rousey has talent. Let's just see if she's ready for this. The only problem I see is you've got 2 very young competitors in the ring, as in neither of them have a lot under their belt. And who's going to be able to carry this match is going to be the interesting one. One that we definitely know who's going to be able to carry the match, the SmackDown Women's title, Carmella versus Asuka, which somehow they've actually made pretty interesting. Carmella, I'm going to tell you, man, I think Carmella's getting over pretty well as a heel champion. She's kind of that chicken shit heel. Of course, she had to cash in on Charlotte to win it. She's talking a lot of shit, which is that's kind of her trademark. Is talking a lot of shit. So that'll be somewhat interesting. Asuka's your runaway winner if you think about it like that. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to just take it off Carmella that easily, just to put it back on Asuka. I see Carmella find a way to win this. Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. My God, how many times do we have to see this match? Yeah. Reigns, Mahal, whatever. Probably the least anticipated match on this. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. They have pulled out every bell and whistle they can to try to get people excited about this. If you find someone who is, please let me know. Now, one I'm excited about, Intercontinental title match, Seth Rollins versus Elias. Elias is a great personality. He's a great character. He's shown some good flashes in the ring. I want to see Elias be able to put together a full match. And luckily, he's got Seth Rollins, who, outside AJ Styles, probably the best performer in the company. So that's going to be a fun match to watch. Rollins is a guy who can steal the show everywhere he goes. Speaking of stealing the show, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, last man standing match for the SmackDown version, the WWE Championship. As you all know, if you listen, I've been waiting for this rivalry to pop off and really go the next level, and they turned it into dick punches. Oh my God, this has to end this rivalry, you would think, for now at least. I hope we get a good match going out, and I hope somewhere later along the way we can get this again and they do it right. Please, just don't fuck this up, man. I mean, this is too good. These guys are too damn good. Anyway, there's your WWE title match. Then you've got the two traditional Money in the Bank ladder matches. You've got the women's. It's going to be Lana, Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, Ember Moon, Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Sasha Banks going for Money in the Bank. Of course, you guys know I'm pulling for Alexa Bliss. Charlotte is the best one in the match. That's not who usually wins Money in the Bank, though. Money in the Bank is so good for a shit-eating heel. I mean, Carmella was great with Money in the Bank. And that's who you kind of want with Money in the Bank, is the heel, so they can come in and do something. So that group, maybe a Lana, even though Lana would really be a push to try to put the belt on her. Alexa would be great with it. Sasha with it. We'll see. Natalya going in there with an injury issue on the storyline. So we'll see what happens with that. And then what I believe will probably be the main event of the night, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, Braun Strowman, The Miz, Rusev, Finn Balor, and one member of the New Day. I don't believe we know which member of New Day it's going to be yet. If we do, I haven't heard it and I don't see it, so we'll have to see. Everybody is jonesing for Braun Strowman to just get the WWE, the Universal title. Brock Lesnar just this week broke the record for the longest WWE title reign in the modern era. He broke CM Punk's record. I think that's something WWE kind of wanted to do because they're obviously embroiled in issues with CM Punk right now. So that's something they can say, ha ha ha, we did this to you. Congratulations, whatever floats your boat. You got to get this thing off Brock Lesnar, man. You got to put it on somebody. I mean, it's never on TV. It's basically, you see him 10 times a year, and that doesn't cut it. Braun is the odds-on favorite just because he's a fucking monster, and we've seen what he can do with ladders. I think Samoa Joe's an interesting keep an eye on. Kevin Owens, obviously, keep an eye on. Bobby Roode's been having I think Bobby Roode's making a heel turn, which is good, what he needs. But man, how much more fun could it be than The Miz to have Money in the Bank? I mean, he's the best. If I said Seth Rollins and AJ Styles are the best in-ring performers right now, The Miz is the best performer in WWE, man. Can you imagine that asshole carrying around Money in the Bank? Oh my God, it'd be amazing. That's what I want to see. I want to see The Miz get it. I want to see Alexa Bliss get it. I want to see Styles keep the title over Nakamura. So we'll see, man. But that's your preview. That's your dime preview. I'll give you a recap next week. We'll let you know everything going on from Money in the Bank, Raw, SmackDown, and see where the storylines are heading next. So, guys, that's been this week's So Raw. Enjoy the wrestling. Enjoy the World Cup. And I'll see you guys next week here on the Foreign Affair podcast. Back to you, Ed Green.
And thanks so much for that, Wes. Yes, big things coming. Super excited about the World Cup starting. Guys, enjoy it. It only comes around once every 4 years. It is, as we like to say, the raison d'etre of the Foreign Affair podcast. It's what brought this together, and it's very, very exciting. A lot of teams could potentially win this one. Brazil, Spain, France, Germany, maybe even Belgium, Argentina, Portugal if they make a lucky run. There's a lot of teams in it. So even though the U.S. isn't there, check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Fox, don't you dare fuck this up. Don't you fucking dare. That's going to do it for episode 214 of the Foreign Affair podcast. Once again, presented by NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We never stop. You can find them on Twitter. You can also find us on Twitter. At AFA Pod is the collective. Wes is at Wes Bradshaw 21, and I am at Edward Green. You can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/The All New Sports Show. Episodes loaded there every week, as well as emailing us at that address, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Finally, thanks to all our podcast providers, including Podbean.com, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn Radio app, the Google Play Music Store, and iTunes Music. So that's going to do it. We'll be back, I believe, live next week. Neither of us being in parts unknown, and we are going to be breaking down all the goodness of the first week of World Cup action. It's going to be big. It's going to be crazy. There will be upsets. There will be unexpected things happening. Hopefully, there's no controversies. Please, Russia, I beg you, no controversies. But no controversies here on this podcast. We are done. So, from a colleague in crime, Wes Bradshaw from Parts Unknown, I am Edward Green in Parts Unknown. We'll catch you next week on the Foreign Affair podcast. Until then, stay safe, and oh bloody hell, do enjoy the football.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.